A warm welcome to your Barbados Today Evening update for Tuesday, July 27. Our top story, Prime Minister Mia Mottley and members of the Social Partnership this evening emerged from lengthy talks on COVID-19 vaccinations and testing, declaring consensus on how they will proceed to tackle the issue. At a news conference, Mottley described the discussions as successful as she outlined the way forward.
We have agreed that the Honourable Attorney General will prepare or have prepared a legal opinion looking at both civil and criminal liability with respect to aspects of mandatory vaccination and mandatory testing or failure thereto, and the consequences of engaging in a way that may be reckless, that may cause harm to others. We leave it as broad as that. We expect that that opinion will be made available to us on or before the 6th of August, and that will then trigger a process that will involve both sectoral and national consultations in the ensuing weeks.
A leading health official declares there's nothing to hide about the number of patients in isolation. This assurance from infectious disease specialist Dr. Corey Ford in response to a claim from a patient that government was not reporting the true figures of the number of people in isolation. Dr. Ford disclosed that there are 25 fully vaccinated people in secondary and tertiary isolation and 37 who are unvaccinated. He added that as of Monday evening, there were 150 people, including 38 minors, in isolation between the Harrison Point facility and the Sun Bay Hotel Isolation Facility, which was opened to facilitate the recent increase in COVID-19 cases. He pointed out that the Sun Bay facility housed patients who were clinically well with mild symptoms. The isolation facility's manager said the number of vaccinated persons in isolation was due to the fact that over the last few days, a number of Barbadians who had returned from overseas were admitted. He made it clear that vaccines did not stop persons from getting infected with the virus, but they do prevent patients from becoming seriously ill. Dr. Ford urged Barbadians to get vaccinated to protect themselves and their loved ones to avoid overwhelming the healthcare system. Now for the latest COVID-19 figures, 6 new positive cases, all males, were discovered from over 1,141 tests conducted by the Besta Santos Public Health Laboratory. 153 people are currently in isolation. Overall, Barbados has 4,359 confirmed COVID-19 cases. 48 people have succumbed to the virus. Tests conducted by the Public Health Laboratory since February last year have reached 212,640. Health officials have administered 99,154 first doses of the COVID-19 vaccines. Health officials have administered 99,154 first doses of the COVID-19 vaccines, and 74,504 people, or 27.5% of the population, have received second doses and are fully vaccinated. Just over 3,400 students will write the Barbados Secondary School entrance examination tomorrow, and all systems are go. Today, our news team visited 2 schools on the final day of preparation. At Charles F. Boone Primary, Principal Dr. Monica Walton says her students are ready.
The children are happy, the children are elated. I think this is a time that they have been looking forward to for a while. And now that it is here, I know that they will do well. They have been tutored in the areas, and we would have done a series of assessments, and we would have seen their growth over time. So most students have peaked at their maximum, and they're ready to do well.
Over at Sharon Primary, Class 4 teacher Jeremy Alling believes the extra time for the test that was delayed because of COVID-19 is a plus for his students.
Well, despite the challenges that we would have had, I guess we are thankful for the extra time. So those children who were not catching on to certain concepts, they had the ability now to catch on. And then we just know that some children are tired mentally from doing it over and over, but I believe that the extended time would have helped majority of the students. So it's just a matter of them remembering all the concepts that we would have taught, and they are ready. I believe they're ready for tomorrow.
Principal at Sharon Primary, Pamela Small-Williams, is also satisfied with the performance of her staff and students.
We believe that with all that we have been doing online, face-to-face, that our children are very prepared. We thank the Lord that He was able to keep the children safe. We have had no incidences or no situations here where children were ill, had to be away from school, and even the teachers, so we're really blessing the Lord for that. But it has been intensified testing. Every week they have had practice tests, and I really have to thank the Lord for my teachers who are so committed and who have been here every single day, even for the extended period that we had.
We spoke to students at Sharon Primary who said they have prepared and are ready for tomorrow.
I feel ready. When the stuff that I did to get to this point, ma'am, every evening when I come home, I will do a banquet paper. My mommy will go through all of the corrections for tests that we did here at the school. And mama can say that is what makes me feel ready, ma'am.
I am confident in myself.
You're confident? So what you did to get ready? What did you do to prepare yourself?
I just listen to my teacher. If I didn't understand anything, ask for help and revise.
I'm feeling kind of anxious.
Well, why you feel anxious?
Because that was my big day to shine. And to move on.
And to move on. So what did you do to prepare yourself for the exam?
I studied and keep myself focused.
Okay.
When my teacher was speaking.
Careful consideration will be given to the placement of any new schools in Barbados, so says Education Minister Santia Bradshaw, who has admitted that the immediate surroundings of some schools have been the cause of environmental issues. Bradshaw made the comments during debate in Parliament on a land resolution that will see the property which housed the former Llewellyn Secondary School being sold to Wabisco.
I hear the cries for additional institutions within the urban corridor, and I think members would also be aware that we've seen a decline in our school rolls in terms of the number of students across the entire system. But it also lends itself to a discussion as to where we place our schools, because the truth of the matter is that we have not necessarily sat down and handpicked with precision exactly where we want to place our educational institutions in many cases. And we have therefore found ourselves with the emergence of institutions in corridors across the length and breadth of the country, which have now become challenging because they are businesses that perhaps in some cases are creating their own environmental issues on the outside of those premises. And it therefore requires that as we get ready to plan for future developments, that account is taken not simply of wanting to have a school because there are lots of children in a particular area and that it's densely populated, but rather looking at where we place our schools more strategically, bearing in mind the other factors that often lend itself to also being considered as well.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news in Jamaica, some teachers are up in arms following statements by Prime Minister Andrew Holness that vaccinated teachers are likely to get preferential treatment. We get the details from Ocean Masters of Television Jamaica.
Preferential treatment may have to be given to teachers who are vaccinated. That declaration from Prime Minister Andrew Holness at the COVID-19 press briefing Monday evening. It comes as there has not been a huge take-up of the vaccine by teachers.
The government's first line of strategic engagement with the critical stakeholders, the teachers, will be to appeal to them. We are not going to go down the route of making anything mandatory. But at the same time, I think we would have to consider ensuring that teachers who are vaccinated and who turn up to work, that they are treated in some preferential way.
But that is not going down well with the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA. Outgoing President Jasper Gabriel says clarification is needed.
To be quite frank, this has sparked a lot of discussions and concerns immediately across the teaching profession. And so we definitely look forward to those discussions that the Prime Minister mentioned, because we are seeking for clarity as to, for example, what does it mean by preferential treatment. So to give any impression or indication as if our professionals are going to be coerced in taking the vaccine when it is still not mandatory is something that we need to get some clarity on.
On the international scene, U.S. health authorities announced today that Americans fully vaccinated against COVID-19 should go back to wearing masks in indoor public places in regions where the coronavirus is spreading rapidly. More from Reuters Television.
Today, we have new science related to the Delta variant that requires us to update the guidance regarding what you can do when you are fully vaccinated.
In a major reversal on Tuesday, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, in a telephone news briefing, said the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention that she leads now recommends that Americans who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 should go back to wearing masks in indoor public places in regions where the virus and especially the Delta variant are spreading rapidly.
In areas with substantial and high transmission, CDC recommends fully vaccinated people wear masks in public indoor settings to help prevent the spread of the Delta variant and protect others.
Behind the course correction, new troubling data showing that vaccinated people who contract the Delta variant in so-called breakthrough cases can spread the virus.
Information on the Delta variant from several states and other countries indicates that in rare occasions, some vaccinated people infected with the Delta variant after vaccination may be contagious and spread the virus to others.
The revised guidance is a setback for the Biden administration after Walensky happily announced in May that vaccinated Americans could shed their masks in most places,
indoor and outdoor activities,
to allow life to begin to return to normal. But with the 7-day average for new cases in the U.S. now rising sharply and tens of millions of Americans still not vaccinated, the CDC is pumping the brakes, noting that 63% of counties across the country had high transmission rates that warranted mask wearing.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.